This week, we're still talking about Beowulf.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. We have a wonderful interview this week with Jennifer Hill, who plays Beowulf in the movie Beowulf.
The title character herself.
I tripped over that so badly.
That's okay. It got out.
All right. Well, we're here now.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
This was recorded actually a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because it was on the heels of recording with David and cast and crew. Jennifer wasn't able to make it, so we got her the following week. Mercy, I can't even remember what all has been going on.
Yeah. Well, where we live, our county where we live has had a mask mandate for, years now. And it finally ended.
Yes.
Which is cool. But, we're still kind of like, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, like this time grocery shopping, I didn't have a mask. Last time I did, even though there was no mandate. Because some people are still, and that's cool. Especially people with kids at the store. And, full applaud for that. Yeah. Because, you do what you do to keep things safe.
Yeah.
Right. Now, today, and I told you this.
I know.
I made a discovery. I have been behind a mask for so long that not wearing one at the grocery store today made me realize how many people at the grocery store actually smell.
Bad.
Like bad. Yeah. Like, wow. This isn't like, I don't like that perfume. I don't like that cologne. This is, why haven't you bathed?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So maybe next week I will put the mask back on when I go.
It's not a terrible idea. We got a car.
We did. We said goodbye to the Silver Fox after 12 years of use. And it was 3 years old when I got it. So after, 15 years of being out there, it was time to retire.
It was.
And the Midge was a little sad because it's the only car she's known.
The only one.
She grew up in it from car seats to her first, no car seat, and then her first front seat ride.
I know.
Oh, yeah. It was a faithful vehicle.
It did, yeah.
But now we have the Arctic Fox.
The Arctic Fox.
Which, curiously, is the first white vehicle I have ever owned in my life.
Same.
Yeah, it's been reds, greens, blues, one terrible brown, 74 Chevy Nova brown. It's almost like baby shit brown. It's just terrible. But.
Yeah. And she's lovely. She's a lovely little vehicle.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to have, folks, in 15 years, cars have come a long way.
This is true.
So it's nice to have some amenities without having to, plug a bunch of random shit into kind of MacGyver a, system together so we can listen to our phones and no more worrying about a phone dropping out of the holder because, God, we went through some holders. And,
it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's nice having heated seats and a backup camera and all that,
Oh, yeah.
all the stuff that has become like standard in cars in the last few years.
Yeah, things that aren't even a discussion.
Right.
But yeah, so that's exciting. It's really, we're still doing our thing. There'll still be another couple episodes coming up bi-weekly. Near the end of that, finally. So close.
And you're doing so well.
I know. Tomorrow's another step. Bam. And then final step.
You can do it.
I know.
I began a DIY project.
Oh, you did? Yes.
Yesterday. Worked on it a little today. Making a homemade canopy for the kids' bed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a little bit of a privacy thing, and also just, visually, it'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be making a time-lapse video of my work on that.
Yeah. Tell us how much fabric we ended up getting yesterday.
49 yards of
There's so much fabric.
tulle or tuile or however
Twill.
you want to say it.
Yeah. I don't know. But
49. Okay. 49 yards.
yeah, 7 different colors. Because she wants a rainbow.
Yep.
So it's going to be a rainbow going around.
Yeah.
Or starting at each end and meeting in the middle. I don't know how you had it mapped out.
I have a plan.
Yeah, this is actually your project, so I'm hands off.
It's a rainbow on each side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're going to have it pulled and corded at the end so she can see her television.
Yes.
But yeah, she's been wanting this for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just she never really had any like ambition. Like, oh, yeah, we can go look at scarves.
Yeah.
Something. Because it involved doing something.
I know.
But we finally decided. Boom.
And I think my work on this project has inspired her to do her own project.
Yes.
Because she's begun working on a quilt.
Mm-hmm.
Which should be interesting.
Made of old blue jean shorts.
Yes.
All of her blue jean shorts that no longer fit her because she's grown yet.
A growing child.
Again. So, yeah. Have to get her some new summer wardrobe.
I know. I spent about 20 minutes today talking to her about how to plan a quilt.
Yep.
So
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well.
But in the meantime.
Yeah,
we have this wonderful interview. Jennifer is, I like everybody. I mean, we say this about everybody because it's just the truth. Was such a wonderful person to talk to. And we had a lot of fun with her. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's delightful.
And as usual, there's some nuggets in there.
Well, yeah, she has a great amount of experience, working in this business. And she also does some like kind of good Samaritan work that you don't typically think of.
Yeah, she
when
is
you think about acting.
Yeah, heavily involved in, I don't want to give it away, in an area that is still fairly new, long overlooked. So yeah, excellent work and strides there. It's something that's very important. And we have talked about it before on the show.
Yeah.
In other
briefly.
Yeah, things. Yeah. We've brought these things up, but yeah, so this is going to be a good listen, folks. Pay attention.
Yes.
And enjoy. And I think that's all I've got.
Happy holiday.
Is it? I'm sure there might have been something.
It might have been a holiday.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we're doing bi-weekly, so we've kind of like missed a few. But happy holidays that we haven't.
Valentine's, maybe.
I think we've maybe missed Valentine's Day. Yeah. As of this recording, St. Patrick's Day is upcoming.
Yeah, we're a few days, my least favorite.
I know.
Fucking holiday. I won't get into it. That's a separate podcast that we have to set up. Yeah. my bitching about St. Patty's Day.
Well.
All right. B-siders.
Let's go.
Let's get into this. Hey, B-siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-side. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we have a long-awaited chat coming here. And we're really excited about it. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
I'm super excited because we have the star of Beowulf, Jennifer Hill. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. We got to talk to you last episode. Actually, we broke it into two, but we got to talk to David and a few other of the cast and crew. We got to talk to Morgan, Cleve.
Yeah, Cleve a little bit. He left for work somewhere in between them coming off and coming back on, which was interesting.
He's a busy man.
Yeah. But I was like, where's Jennifer? So I'm super excited to get to talk to you today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, awesome job. I think in the film, Beowulf was my favorite of the characters.
Mm.
Just because she was super fun to watch. I was kind of wondering, what was your thought on the take that like Beowulf is a con artist in the film?
Yeah, well, I thought it was really interesting, a very interesting twist to the story, gave a whole new level. Um, you know, I was at first just so excited to have the opportunity to play Beowulf because, as far
Yeah.
as I knew, a woman. I mean, I just Googled. I mean, not to say it doesn't exist, but I hadn't seen anything where Beowulf was a woman before. There was some, fan art and stuff I found, but didn't find any kind of, films or anything like that. So it didn't seem to really have been done before. So that was super exciting. And then this whole other sort of layer that she's this con artist, but then has to sort of rise to the occasion and be the hero that she pretended to be, added this whole, other level to it that I thought was just really interesting and was going to be really fun to play around with.
Yeah.
It was. You did. Yeah. I'll just echo. You did a magnificent job. It was.
Thank you so much.
And we'll get into it a little bit more. I don't want to dive into it right now, but, Beowulf being a woman, when we talked to the other folks, was there any kind of like onus, of swapping the gender? And one of the things we said about the movie is this is probably, and this counts all films that I think have ever been made, where a main character like this, a popular one, in terms of legend and poetry, where it was gender swapped and it wasn't the main story. That wasn't the focus. And
Mm-hmm.
the writing is what kind of makes that happen. But
yeah, it wasn't gimmicky at all.
Right. But you had this really great, just one of our favorite lines is when you're talking about shapers. And, every time they tell a story about me, they turn me into a man. What's up with that? And just left it. So simple. And your delivery of that was fantastic in terms of the character. And like, it's just, it's one of those things like, oh, they always get it wrong kind of thing,
Yeah. And then on to the next thing.
Yes. So you said like you were Googling Beowulf to see if anything of this had been done. Was that a curiosity thing, or were you looking to do a little research to see maybe how this had been approached before?
Yeah, both actually. If you first, just out of curiosity, is has this ever been done before? And if it has, I'd love to see what other people have done with it, other actresses, maybe how they handled it. But then, like I said, just didn't find anything. And I don't want to make a blanket statement that it does not exist. I just was unable to find it.
Right.
The most I saw was just some artists that had depicted Beowulf as a woman, and she usually, it was very sexy with like huge.
Oh yeah.
Very like pin-up-y Beowulf. A lot of them were. But didn't really, didn't come up with anything more than that, which also intrigued me even more. But like, oh wow, so this hasn't really been done, or at least done a lot. So that's really exciting, because we all know Beowulf, and it really got me excited to to do it.
Excellent. Yeah. That's always the worry. Like you said, the art that's out there, people think of different depictions of things. And we were just talking about Danny, we have the Harry Potter wand collection.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Danny was just kind of fidgeting with him the other day, just something to do. Just like, if I were a wizard in D&D, which would I use for a prop kind of thing? And we got on a small discussion of why are all the guys' wands, these big chunky things at the end. They're, about the size of a silver dollar, some of them, most of them like a quarter in terms of grip. And all the women or girls, depending when they started, wands are so slender.
Yeah, and they're just long and thin. And as I was like playing with them, just I'm such a nerd. I was like, these skinny little wands, like if I was like really into doing a spell with them or something, it'd fly right out of my hand. There's no grip on this thing.
But that's the discussion we got on was, everything female has to have this pre-programmed disposition of feminine, which is, well, a woman's wand would be sleek and thin and not, bumpy and crude and all this.
Pretty and
yeah.
And I love that you were not put together that way for this movie, because that was, so had David not reached out, we may have passed this movie by simply because of my own prejudice. I hate the word bae.
Yeah, I listened to the other podcast where you
I hate it. And and that's not cool. It's not fair, that a movie would get passed up for something like that. But, he reached out. So we're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And then I'm thinking, oh no, because you just never know, you just never know. So we're like, okay, when she comes on screen, what's it going to be? Is it going to be, like, the land that time forgot? It's going to be in a fur bikini.
right?
With some sort of useless, helmet. But yeah, you hit the screen and bam, it was all good. And it wasn't that slender wand thing. I loved how you played. I don't like assigning terms. You didn't play it in a masculine sense. And I think David or Stefan or something mentioned that you kind of went, or maybe it was Cleve, that you went sort of more of the masculine approach to it. And I was thinking, I don't like putting labels on it. I don't think
that's true.
I think you were just a Nord. Right?
Yeah.
Or, well, not a Nord, but, you were just an adventurer.
Just a person. Yeah, that was really my approach to it, because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm a woman, and constantly showing like how feminine I'm a woman, Beowulf, and I'm so feminine because I'm a woman. Like, I didn't want to do that, and because that's not how women walk. Most women walk through this world. And then I also didn't want to be like, well, I'm Beowulf, I have to be super masculine and be like a man. I just wanted to be, a person. Like, this is who she is. And like most people, we don't fall into this A or this B category of being totally feminine. We're just people going through our lives. And so it was, that was important to me, to not lean too extreme into, either gender, just to be this complicated person.
I like it. See, we watched, we loved the show Vikings, and
I have not seen, and I've had so many people recommend that show to me.
Oh man, it's so good.
Oh yeah, try to get it on your list.
Yeah, I did. I have a list.
One of the things they did is they didn't go one way or the other, like to one extreme or the other, or a bland generic focus. So you have men and women, and they actually did it at different levels, which was, historically is accurate in terms of women in the Nord world, Viking world, that were farmers, commoners. They weren't like, man at arms kind of thing, but they were hardy, sturdy people, and they acted very much the same as the men. When you get higher up into princes and princesses and earls, and that the lifestyle is where they changed, and you could very much see there's very much a man's way of doing things and very much a way women are expected to be in at that level.
Yeah.
Unless they were farmers or warriors who ascended to that level, then it was a whole different thing. But they did a really good job on just like this film, not overdoing any one particular thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day, everyone had to fight, man, woman, sometimes kids. It's like, hey, it's fight or die.
Yeah.
Now with one of the things I want to talk about is this imp thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the dirty imps.
They're molesty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we thought it was funny. And then thinking about it, I mean, if I had to sit there in front of the camera and try to present these lines, knowing this whole stupid background, I don't know that would have been able to keep a straight face, because I can barely talk about it without a bit of a chuckle and stuff. Just the concept of randy imps flowing through the forest. How maybe it didn't tickle you as much and it was easy, but there was a lot of what I call small hill humor, where you didn't reach, for the big payoff. It was just in the flow of things, all these little humorous lines and actions and stuff. How did you get through that, focusing on playing the character, and then all these little opportunities for just silliness pop up? And I know part of it is, well, it's what an actor does.
I would be the worst person to have on set, because I'm super giggly, and I also like to incite other people to be giggly.
Yeah.
Well, I have definitely fallen victim to that at times. I can't really think of a specific time in Beowulf where that happened. But yeah, it's hard when you get the giggles. For me, a lot of times it's what the other actor does. It's not so much what I'm saying or doing, but it's what someone else's delivery of a line will just really hit me. And I'll be in place because I laugh at what they're doing. That happens to me more often than making myself giggle. Well, I had a lot of time to sit with the lines beforehand and get really familiar with them. And that's just part of, her Beowulf's style, is that, she cons people into believing these things are real. So she has to deliver those lines, say those things like they're real, because she wants to convince these people that imps exist and they're going to molest you in the forest. And so to really make that work, it had to be delivered in a certain way. But she doesn't, that she doesn't think what she's saying is funny. She wants the person to believe that, this is a real danger and you should pay me to get rid of these rapey imps in the forest.
Rapey imps. Of all the things.
The rapey ones.
Well, just add an extra layer of, ooh, I don't want to experience that. Right.
Right. You don't want to meet one of those late at night.
No.
I suppose it's a way of giving imps a little bit of credit, because, it's always the incubus and the succubus who are tied to, they're going to come and get you and seduce you, and then things are going to happen. No, instead we have these, 26-inch tall things leaping about.
Trying to grope you.
Yeah.
I think it fit the setting perfectly, though. One of I know it was your favorite line. After
we're dumb and we're
Grendel
drunk and we startle
down
easily.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that line too. And that was one I had to get real comfortable with, because I'm supposed to be so fierce in that moment. I'm here with Grendel's mother and I got my sword and we're about to fight and I got to be so aggressive. But I'm telling her that we're dumb and we're drunk and we startle easily. So, just got to, again, remember that Beowulf doesn't think she's being funny. She means it like we think that's okay.
Well, it is also absolutely true of all of the Danes in this film.
They are all, yes, dumb and drunk and startling.
Now, we heard about a lot of things that happened in the production.
Right, because it was a pandemic production.
And under the best of circumstances, any production's fraught with some level of issues. But, losing an actor and then losing another actor and having to replace an actor and lighting fires, the smoke patrol. What give us some of your perspective on like things that happen and like getting through it.
Yeah. Well, first, the majority of the film is all shot outside. It was March of last year, so we're coming up on a year of filming. Pandemic. I think I got my vaccine just in the nick of time in like the last hour. I think I got it 2 weeks, my last shot 2 weeks before we started filming. So I was like, whew, like just in the nick of time. So that gave me a little bit of confidence, that I finally got that vaccine before going in. And of course, we had all kind of COVID protocols and stuff on set. But yeah, so it was outside. The structures we did have, and in March in South Carolina, which is where I am right now and where we filmed, is still can be like we can have some hot days, and the bugs are already starting to come out, and things are starting to get a little crazy outside. So and then plus I had all this armor on, which was amazing, by the way. I loved my costuming, but that stuff was really heavy and it took a lot to get into. Someone actually had to help me get into that front armor piece. I needed assistance to get into it. And then I wouldn't want to take it off because it was such a production to get into it. And then I would have makeup on, that black makeup. And if it went over, it would rub my makeup off. So I would commit to staying in it pretty much the entire day. I would nap in it, sitting and shit, just because it was just too much of a hassle to go through taking it on and off and redoing makeup. So, you're not exactly super comfortable. There's bugs. It's long days, getting up super early and staying till late at night. So you're tired, and we shot it all within, a couple weeks, really. And so as the days go on, you're getting more and more tired, you're getting more run down. Physically, I started to have some back trouble towards the end. I actually had a back surgery a few years ago. I ruptured 2 discs in my lumbar.
Oh, God.
A few years ago, and had to have surgery for it, which I'm great now. I'm good. I just have to be super careful with it, and it can act up. And so I started having, just from wearing all that armor all the time and doing some physical things. I mean, I didn't really have many stunts, but it's doing some stuff. Grendel knocks me around a few times. My back starts hurting. I'm tired. So you just, I'll be honest. I think it was the last day I was just like tired crying, which everyone was so wonderful. And David was so great. I was just, my body hurt. My body hurt. I was exhausted, and I was just at that weepy, like, I can't, But got it all together. Had my moment. Got it together and continued on. But so, I mean, it was more like just me versus myself when it comes to just energy and, being uncomfortable and your back hurting and stuff like that. We had all these actors needing to be replaced and stuff. Luckily, we had really awesome people that were able to step in and just were on their game. And so we're super lucky as far as that goes. But that was probably my biggest challenge is just, being, as the days go on, getting more exhausted and just, cranky.
I think with a short production time frame, like most indie films, they're super short. I mean, nobody has time to draw this out. The only time it's drawn out is like the ones that, every Saturday for 3 years, we're going to do a little bit more. In a big production, when someone drops out, that you can almost see it, even if you didn't know about it, before seeing a movie, where everything just kind of goes off kilter a little bit, one way or the other, because there's rehearsals and these people, you're working a relationship up, you're working off someone else's dynamic. You kind of know what to give and take in a scene from that person because you get familiar with how they do their craft, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And then you got somebody else who 80% of what they're doing is going to fit the bill because the character's still the character, but that close dynamic. And I was thinking maybe that's like a blessing for indie film. There's so many other problems.
Right.
You're not burdened with this long relationship with somebody, building this up before someone yells action, and then all of a sudden they're gone. You know, Rob's gone. Here's Pete. Oh,
Right.
no. What's Pete gonna do?
Yeah, it can be scary because most of my background is in theater. I've done theater since I was in middle school. And in that instance, you know, you're doing a play, a 2-hour-long play, and you rehearse for 2 months, and, you know, you're so used to this person. And so that would be really traumatic, almost from an actor's standpoint, to lose a scene partner, you know, in that sort of setting where you've been together for so long and intimate, and you know, you're going to do a 2-hour-long play together. Yeah, that would be a much more jarring thing for me, I think. I was really, you know, Morgan stepped in to play the princess, and I knew Morgan. We had done a little bit of stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
But we had such a great chemistry with each other. I mean, I felt like we did. I really loved working with Morgan, and that scene of ours where we're just talking in the tavern about the imps and the shapers and all that. I really loved that. Was one of my favorite scenes to film because it was just me and her, and it was quiet, and it just felt really natural, and I really enjoyed that. So it was really great that Morgan was able to step in and do that because, you know, I just felt super comfortable with Morgan, and I felt like we had a really great back and forth. So that was really great.
It was really, that's one of the things we liked about it, was everything was so evenly flowing, and, you know, amidst all the things going on. Dialogue, we've loved some shows on a technical aspect, but the dialogue would be just real hard to latch onto. In fact, we've stopped watching some stuff, series and movies, where we're like, oh, can't
it's
do
just too
it.
painful.
Yeah. But some we've sat through, mostly because Danny's thing is really, we were watching some stupid show, and this was clearly written by a man.
Oh yeah.
and it was.
I can't remember what that one was.
I don't. It's out of sight, out of mind. But we did have a conversation about, you know, do men really talk like this? And I'm like, well, sadly, yes. You know,
it was the Adam Scott movie.
Oh, the one that we thought was a Thanksgiving film, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving in the movie. Well, they portray it as going to see Thanksgiving because we wanted a Thanksgiving Day themed. That's what it was. Thanksgiving Day themed movie for the episode, for the podcast for that week.
Okay.
Well, Thanksgiving takes place in about 3 minutes, 40 seconds through the whole, that's it. And it's a whole bunch of movie. And then they're sitting at the dinner with a turkey, and they have this weird, awkward exchange. And then we're on to the rest of the story. That was it. Thanksgiving. Yep. They just kind of like popped in on Thanksgiving and gone. But a lot of the heartfelt, emotional dialogue was so bad. Just bad.
And the actors did a great job.
Oh, yeah. The performances were fantastic. But
I was like, this is not how real people talk.
Yeah.
So we got into the whole locker room discussion. You know, it's not just, you know, vulgar, you know, oh, she's got a great ass and this and that. There is something genetically in men that predispose them to just becoming blatantly stupid when in a group. And we all act different when we're not in social eyes. You know, how we act in the house, that whole thing of someone did a whole treatise on what is the character of a person.
Well, yeah, I had to stop the movie because we were, and I was like, I'm not a dude. Is this how guys really talk to each other?
And for the most part, yeah. But that whole thing, you know, how you act in your home when no one's watching, that's your true character. And that's kind of the getting to know yourself and how do you want to be to the world. But yeah, and we went into this big long discussion, I think, on that episode, how I'm a firm believer that writing should always be done as a team. Now, we've written before we met, we were writing. And I think coming together, we just added just enough to each other, bam, to elevate it. I had the fortune of being surrounded by women growing up. So I had none of this male thing going on, except for my grandfather. And he was just sort of like a lost boat in the ocean, surrounded by, daughters and daughters and granddaughters. But I think women can hit emotional notes more accurately, more intensely in the writing, in directing, and acting than a man ever has or could. And, I tapped myself on the, back thinking, well, I could write about women, but we did have a discussion how I could never write as a woman. I would never be so presumptuous to think, well, I grew up, we had 14 people in the house. Myself and my grandfather were the only males. All the rest were aunts and cousins and my sister. And that doesn't mean when I do something, I know exactly what you're thinking and feeling.
Right.
Internally. I see the external part, but external is half the story. The movement in this film was I think pretty accurate because we have different situations. It's a fantasy kind of thing. But I want to dial this back a bit to, you said you did theater since you were little.
Yeah.
Now, I want to hear about your climb as a female in this ridiculous creative industry, even if it's a high school play. What was your, what was your experience? What did you learn? What did you wish you had known in that whole, because I think back when I was in high school, I played Shylock. That was my only real acting part. And I vowed never to do it again. And, the only thing I have for comparison is I really tried to look at it from the Shakespearean actor's point of view. Like these guys are a group amongst themselves, right? It's a very unique thing. How can I do this? But all of Shakespeare is very male oriented. It's very, very
100%.
Very much Bill's perspective on life as it's written. We won't get into all the other stuff, controversies, but one of the things we want to, do this year is talk about, women in this industry. And because right now things are starting to happen. Eyes are starting to be opened.
Well, and over the past few years, there have been a lot more women in indie film.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not saying like right now, today, last couple of years, like the whole, especially with the Weinstein thing. That I think is what had to happen and finally happened to wake everyone up to the reality. And prior to that, there's a woman here will ascend and get noticed but then get snubbed professionally and things like that. So starting from just something that you wanted to do to the point now where you're in front of cameras, what kind of changes? How did it start? How did you evolve? Just general stuff.
Yeah, those are great questions. So I was always a bit of a showboat as a child. I made up a dance to Paula Abdul's Straight Up Now Tell Me. Everybody in the family come in and watch me perform it,
Awesome.
Right.
Excellent.
My poor brothers. I had two older brothers. So that's the kind of stuff that was going on in my house. So, I was very performy and, wanted to put on shows all the time. And my mother put me in a beauty pageant when I was 10.
Okay.
And I was just excited to be on a stage. That was what was the most exciting part of it to me. It was like, I get to be, I get to be up on a stage. I actually won that beauty pageant.
Awesome.
Crazily enough. and continued to do a little bit of my mother was not like a pageant mom. It was not like a toddlers and tiaras situation. It was she was just trying to help her daughter that liked to perform, and we lived in a small town, and maybe she should try this. So my pageantry career was pretty short-lived. I did a few more after that, but then I was like, this really isn't my bag. So, but that was the first time I was ever up on a stage. And then again, my sweet mother, she found out they were doing children's theater classes one summer at my local community theater. Asked me if I wanted to give it a try. I never had done acting up until that point, and it was one of the deals where they give you classes over the summer, and then you put on a show and that whole thing. You do a play. So did it, and just instantly fell in love with it. It was just like something just clicked. The first time I, got up and did something on stage, a scene or whatever, I can't remember. It was so long ago. It just felt, like home. It just felt right. And it made me so happy. And I just knew I wanted to continue doing it. And I think I was 12 or 13 at the time, and I've just never stopped. And I'm now 43. So, that's how long I've been acting. And so that just continued. And then, I got super involved at all the community theaters, did acting all through high school. It was in all the plays, in drama club. I was an apprentice at the local professional theater here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's called Trustis Theater, which I'm now a company member at. So I'm part of their core actors now, but I started as an apprentice when I was in high school, basically they would give free instruction to students in return for them working backstage on productions and things like that. It was really great. It really shaped, I think, who I am doing that. And so just, kept doing it. Then into adulthood, it was still just theater. I was very concentrated on theater. I've done so much theater. I then had a couple of children. I have 2 sons and took a big hiatus during those times of, being pregnant, having babies, having small children, but just missed it like crazy during the time. Just my heart just yearned for it. And as soon as they got a little bit older, I was right back in it. And then it started, I guess, maybe about 5-6 years ago. I started getting some film things thrown my way. Little shorts, the kind of indie film scene here in Columbia, South Carolina, there started to be one,
Mm-hmm.
put it that way. People started making films, and we have a little indie art house movie theater here called the Nickelodeon. Put on an indie film festival every year called Indie Grits, and it just started becoming more of a thing. Yeah, Indie Grits. It's a great name. And from theater and the people I knew, that sort of segued into doing some film work. And then I started doing some regional and local commercials. And then in the past few years, I've done several things with David, full, shorts and full-length films. And it just, and I also did a lot of improv. I have a big improv background, which has been very helpful in everything, including film. Having a strong improv background and training has just been.
Yeah, I feel like improv is helpful even just in life in general.
Agreed. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's been great in all aspects. One of the best things I've ever done was get into improv. I also work with a improv. Well, I guess you can call it an improv group. It's called Kaufman Forensic Actors, and it's a company of actors that are used to train child psychiatrists, child welfare workers, police officers, FBI agents on how to interview children that have been, had crimes committed against them or have seen crimes. they need training on how to do that. You can't just throw them in a room with a child because it's a whole
Right.
different
Yeah.
world. So they use actors to basically role play in classroom type settings with these people to help train them on how to talk to and interview children in a way that doesn't further traumatize them. And also things that will hold up in court to get, interviews and testimonies that will then help prosecute their, the people that need to be prosecuted. So that's another crazy avenue that improv led me into is using it to work in that field. So that's how all that sort of unfolded. I would have to say, as some rough patches along the way, was definitely growing up, doing a lot of community theater and things like that. There was a lot of inappropriate things that I feel like sort of happened, not only to myself, but to a much more degree to people I knew, with girls, now they're women, that I knew, where, okay, you're in this community theater production and you're in it with adults and you want to impress them and you want to be professional, and you want to seem adult yourself. And there was incidences in a lot of community theaters that I worked in around that time of adult men crossing the line with younger underage actresses.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Yeah.
And at the time, being one of those girls, like I said, you want to be liked and you want to appear as though you're more grown up than you are. And I mean, you're a kid, so you don't really realize what's going on. And it's funny because a lot of those girls I knew around that time and some that came after me, started outing some of these men in the community theaters. It was a couple of years ago, and telling their stories, being like, now I'm an adult woman. And I look back and I realize, how inappropriate this was, and it should not have been happening. But at the time, I was just I was a child, and so that's something that's been happening, but it happened. But I can tell you that the theater's getting a lot better about protecting their actors in that way. Trustis Theater, where I'm a company member, has adopted something called the Chicago Theater Standards.
Okay.
Which started in Chicago. And it's basically where, if you're going to stage an intimate scene, you need to have an intimacy choreographer, I think they're called. I'm not sure. But, I've been in those situations where you're in a play and you're doing an intimate scene, and no one really knows what to do when you get up to that point. The director's like, just you figure it out. Which can be scary. And also, I mean, it can be a little dangerous, So it's basically like, yeah, right. So that's how it used to be. That's like the school I came up in, where it was just like, hey, you guys just work it out. But now in my home theater, there is someone whose job it is to come in, talk to, say it's a man and a woman actor, and they're going to do a very intimate sort of scene together, to take them separately and talk about them, like, what is off limit? What do you feel comfortable with? Do the same thing with both of them separately, then bring them together. And every step, every movement is perfectly choreographed. So you always know what to expect every time that you do it. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's the stage manager's job to watch the scene every night. And if something different happens, then they report it to the director, whoever they're supposed to go report it to. And that's really a great thing, I think. And it keeps
definitely
everyone safe, right? Yeah. Because I haven't really had any bad experience with that, but I know plenty of actors where, they're in an intimate scene and it's a middle of a performance, and then all of a sudden someone grabs them in a way that they've never rehearsed, or it's never happened that way before. And it's traumatic and it's jarring. And, so it's to help protect the actors. And then there's also a whole, in those Chicago theater standards, a whole protocol that if there's an incident that happens during rehearsal, during a performance, who do you go talk to? And here's who you talk to. And if nothing happens after you talk to them, who's the next person you go to? And there's a whole sort of protocol for what to do in these situations that if something is happening that's making you uncomfortable. So I think those things are getting a lot better.
Good.
Yeah, I think definitely even just the fact that like there is someone who you can go to talk to things, like that is a person who exists, is so new.
Right?
In theater and in film, like just in general for women, that like that is an just that in itself is an enormous game changer.
Agreed.
I mean, like even not in theater, right? There are so many situations where you're like, what do I do?
What do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, so we hear a lot about this kind of stuff in Hollywood, right? That's where, it all comes up. And then next level down, we're talking theater, we're talking LA and New York, this. I mean, nobody's going to argue against the fact that it's just this giant cesspool of issues that even though things are happening, we got a long way to go to get that scraped off of our shoes and into somewhere where it should have been all along. But I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think I've ever really pondered it before. So you have a theater group, right? And then that theater group is part of a bunch of other theater groups, but that is a small community. In, the acting community is small in film. Acting community is small in theater.
Definitely.
Yeah, put it up against the rest of the world. But then I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, what is that like? First of all, way back, well, not too far back, but all these things you're talking about, when something happened, you wouldn't want to do anything because it's that small community, right?
Yeah.
You're going to become some sort of anathema or, anything can happen. And I don't think our listeners may not realize, just because someone's talking about community theater, that's still a powerful entity in the acting, creative, producing, writing world.
It's a huge entity if you live in a small community.
Well,
because that's the only outlet.
Yep. And let's jump on that. So now you have this small community where you have creatives, and now you're in a small town that has its own issues. And I just can't imagine how much more angst and repression that someone would feel on their shoulders. It's not just, I don't want to disrupt this whole acting community and possibly never get cast again because I love this and I want to go forward with this.
Right.
But I know for a fact I'm going to see this person every goddamn Sunday at Kroger or, Pick and Save or Piggly Wiggly or whatever the grocery. And unless something big happens for me, we're going to grow old and die together in this town because, it's, small towns, people have a tendency to just, that's, where they're, and that's all fine. But I'm just thinking, damn, let's get a double barrel shotgun. What a double shot of shit that you'd have to put up with.
And a lot of these people that I'm thinking of were really stand-up people in the community that everyone loves. Everyone thinks they're wonderful, and they go to church every Sunday, and some of them have families and are married, and so
right. And they sponsor charitable walks, and
I tell you, I had this conversation with our daughter just a couple of days ago. She had a situation with a friend, and it kind of came down to something that happened in this friend's life. At what point do you go, yeah, but okay? Yeah, but this person, is cool. Yeah, but, and so we had a talk on the drive home from school where there's never a yeah, but. There's never a yeah, but. It's not easy. It's not that easy. And I use Bill Cosby as an example. I said, now, I don't know the man, but growing up as a poor kid, and the first time I got my hand, it was like 7, 6, got my hand on one of his records, I was like, oh man, he's funny as hell, but he gets it too. He makes me feel not bad about being poor.
Right.
And then, like most of us growing up, Bill Cosby was funny. And then he was America's dad at one point. And then you have to take all that lifetime of, all the moments I was down and he lifted me up. I'd throw this record on or watch a special and, all this. And then all of a sudden you're confronted with the fact that while that was going on, he was drugging and raping women left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And I said, so yeah, I'm like, you can't go, he did that. Yeah. But, other than that, he's a good guy. So
nope.
That's
not how it works.
No.
Yeah, it's not how it works.
No. I said, in an instance like that, what I have to do is reconcile the fact that I can't deny the pleasure that he threw into my life for those moments. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm also not going to look forward to any more of those. And I'm going to own the fact that, well, piece of shit is a piece of shit. And I'm just going to do that. So I said, you got to, if you ever run into that situation in life, there's never a yeah, but. Right is right, wrong is wrong. There are some things in life that are strictly black and white, and you don't ever give in to yeah, but. But it's the same thing, stand up people. And how hard is that going to make getting people to believe you and champion?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, he's an alder and he's been the this and that for, 25 years. And it's like, oh, okay, still.
Well, and then it's compounded by the people who are like, oh, well, that's not my business.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because they don't want any part of it because they have to see him every Sunday, too, at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that would happen. I've known incidences, too, where, other people would look the other way or other adults in the situation because, they don't want the drama or they don't, that's none of my business or they, whatever their reasons are, which doesn't do anyone any favors, certainly.
No.
No. It's funny that you brought up like the indie festival and everything. So we watch a lot of movies, as we can. We're horror fans, but we love.
We have a podcast where we talk about indie movies.
Yeah, but
you might infer that we watch a few.
We love all film, but we're horror fans, and we're particularly zombie, and to even narrow it down more, Romero type zombies. The slow moving Walking Dead stuff. Not a big fan of the running, screaming kind, but we'll watch them all. But one thing we've noticed lately is a lot of like Tubi is like the haven for indie filmmakers. They have, I think, for every like Hollywood film, there's like 1,500 indie films.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can get down lost in the rabbit hole there for hours. Like, I'm just going to look and see what.
Imagine.
And then, but what's this? Oh, but what's this? What's this? And you're like, oh shit, it's half an hour past when I wanted to go to bed and I started an hour before to watch something to take up the time. But anyway, we've noticed a lot of horror, especially indie films coming out of South Carolina, that area where South Carolina, that whole region has a very visual distinctness to it. And having been around the country many, many, many times, I can see a shot of something and I can tell if it's down south, if it's along the East Coast, just based on the trees and the way the bushes are and the way the grass grows, wild, long, short, tall, yellowish, greenish. And there are so many. Every time we fire something up, that's the first thing that hits me is, and then sure enough, down as the credits come in, so-and-so, South Carolina. Is that a comfortable place for you in this kind of creative endeavor? So with theater, obviously there's film going on. David's knocking stuff out. Apparently, they're starting something next week. And have you? Is it? I guess I don't know. I don't want to say complacent, but I mean, is there that if this one thing were to happen, I would take the step to go to like a New York production or end up out in LA in front of a camera or something? Or is this feeding your habit, so to speak, enough in this environment?
Yeah, I hear you. The answer is yes. I when I was younger, there was that whole um question of like, am I going to move to New York or LA and do that whole thing? Like, beat the pavement every day, go to like, the tampon commercial where there's 50 other women that look just like you. Right? Am I going to go that route? And I haven't and I didn't, because at the end of the day, I mean, that is a really hard life to do that,
Yeah.
That's a hard life. And being here, I was always getting, thrown really great things my way where I was, getting great roles in really cool plays. And where friends I have in New York is like, oh, like, you're doing Kushner, and you're playing that role. Like, oh, I would love to do that. But it's like, but it's different because I'm here. I'm in South Carolina. I'm not in New York City,
Yeah.
It's just different. I don't have the same amount of competition and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm able to do more of these really awesome roles. And then with the introduction of the whole, indie film scene really kind of blowing up down here. And then also there's been a whole bunch of just other films and TV shows and things being shot down here. I've been trying to get a featured extra role on The Righteous Gemstones now for the past 2 seasons. Because they film in Charleston, which is like an hour and a half from where I live. And well, they've shot like Vice Principals, they shot all that stuff down there. So they just got picked up for another season. So there's still a chance.
There's still a chance.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah. Keep your fingers crossed for me. And then also I'm really close to Charlotte. I'm an hour away from Charlotte, North Carolina, in like Wilmington. Lots of stuff happens up there. I think I'm 3 hours away from Atlanta, where lots of stuff happens there too. So I find myself kind of in the middle of where a lot of stuff is happening. And I started realizing that, especially in my 30s, that there's a lot of opportunities right around where I am. And the living is easy here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's very like user-friendly place to live. The cost of living is pretty low. All my family's here. And I have these really great things. So when it came to a choice of, am I going to stay here and do, what I'm doing here, or am I going to, move out to LA or New York and just beat the pavement and do that whole thing? My heart wanted to stay here.
Okay.
That appealed to me more, was staying here and working out of the Southeast. So, and if I felt like I wasn't getting fed artistically, if I wasn't getting any opportunities, that would be different.
Okay.
Right.
But they're certainly here, I certainly work, and, I'm a company member of a really great professional theater. And so, there's there really is lots of opportunities, I feel like, where I am right now. So the answer to yes, I do feel well fed here,
Okay.
where I am. So.
I think that I love asking that kind of question, because I think 20 years ago, no one would ever have thought to ask that question, because you just wouldn't have been well fed. I mean, if you were at your age now, 20 years ago, not a lot going on. Because we confronted that. So
yeah,
we both have written. I've written since I've got.
We've got 3 bankers boxes next to Jim full of like things we've written.
Oh wow!
Up there. Check it out. We have so like there's scripts, research that we've done for scripts. One of these is a box of all the writings I've done since I was 6, and stories. And when we met, neither one of us had thought of doing like screenwriting. Written stories.
Those
I've had some
poetry
short
and
stories
stories
published
and
and, blah, 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 blah. But then we were like, we had this like weird fantasy thing that we drummed up when we first met. Like, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool to like,
well, because we love zombies and we're like,
make
it'd be cool to be in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. So to do that, cause we're not scientific and we're flat ass broke. How about we like make a movie and then the proceeds from that movie about a zombie apocalypse will go to feed our real life preparation to create a zombie apocalypse. And I was just meandering about that to a friend at work. And he's like, dude, man, you ought to write that up. That itself is a movie.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We did. And then we realized we love doing this. We love screenwriting. This is
it's completely different than like poetry or
we spent months studying
writing.
how to actually write a script as compared to just letting shit flow from your head onto paper. And so when you write a script, you have to do everything you do in a 200 or 400 page novel, but you have to condense it down to 90 pages, 120 pages at most to show someone, and you can't talk about shit. Right? It's all show, don't tell. Okay.
Whereas I before would have spent like a whole day on a single sentence.
Yeah.
Occasionally, not all the time, but like, oh, this sentence has got to be perfectly worded. That doesn't.
Yeah. So when we did that, and then we did the amateur, we know what we're doing. So I sent out like 60 fucking cold letters and, got 60 just flat ass rejections, where unsolicited inquiries and stuff like that.
They weren't even rejections. They were like, we can't read your script because our legal team.
Yep. I don't even know what this piece of paper is, man. But the fact I didn't ask for it means I'm not even looking at it. So we got some education, some street learning. And then we found a service online. And that got us, before we knew it, we're talking to producers. We're talking to people who are in it. And it's just kind of crazy. And then we bought into the whole, we got to get to LA. Right? It's Hollywood, right? That's what we're doing. Most television things still happen in LA. And I'm like, and if we got something that make us go to New York, then we'd move to New York. So we were, apartment hunting and doing all this stuff. One thing led to another. And some major setbacks for us. So we actually, before we knew all this stuff about Harvey Weinstein, we had somebody who actually had set up a meeting with us, with one of their TV heads about our TV pilot and series. And they were very interested. We were on the books.
Oh, okay.
And then 2 days later, after I found about this, Harvey Weinstein happened in the news. And I'm like, oh no.
And then we got a message that was like, your meeting with this representative
has been canceled,
indefinitely postponed.
Yeah. We're like, oh, well, even if they do straighten their shit out, I guess I don't want to be a part of that. But anyway, all these things happened that kept us from moving to LA, which was great because then COVID hit, not, 2 years later. And we had a bunch of plans that would have absolutely ruined us.
Gotcha.
And we were bummed. We were pissed. And then it hit. Well, now, wait a minute. We've been talking to producers.
We've been talking
about our various scripts. We've been talking to agents. We've been talking to people. And we're in Madison, Wisconsin. We didn't go to LA to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And we thought, why? Other than it's, super
warmer.
Yeah, it's goddamn cold here. And that would be awesome. But then we realized we can do everything we want to do from here.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to sell a TV show and be on it, then we'll have to move. They're like, yeah, you got to be here. You got to be on set. You got to do the scripts and read in the writing room and all this stuff. Okay, fine. But yeah, we write.
But why go live there and pay $3,000 for a 1-bedroom, apartment?
Yeah.
God, at least.
Yeah, you just don't have to.
Right. Now, for writers, it's a little bit different because, I mean, technically people are thinking, well, you could write anywhere anyway. But without a purpose, it just seems sort of like a thing to do. Like
Yeah.
are you going to go stand in your bedroom, close the door, and then do a full 90 minutes of whatever in just in front of the mirror and not let anyone see it, not perform for anyone? It's that same thing with writing. We're not just going to write it, put it in a box, let's put some holes in it, bind it. I want people to see it. I want people to consider it. I want to hear, what do you think? Kind of thing. So, and that's one thing we try to stress to listeners. And I don't think a lot of people listen. I don't know if anyone takes our advice, but you can do what you want to do without having to do that whole upending of life and going and pounding the pavement and getting into a room with 50 other women for a tampon commercial, because one of these days that commercial is going to propel you into whatever, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing about indie film, we think indie film is the purest form of the filmmaking art that there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much less business oriented, and it's focused on passion, ambition,
It's
drive.
Completely driven by passion.
Yeah. Creativity.
It has to be, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if it isn't, then it doesn't end up,
well,
and done.
Yeah. And a level of self-satisfaction. I mean, you don't get a 6-figure paycheck for driving an hour out to a location
and sweating in armor all day.
Yeah. But you do it.
You gotta love it. Yeah, you have to love it. You have to.
And I think everyone needs to understand that. And with independent film, it's not just South Carolina. There's places all over the country. There's huge pockets of it going on. We have been lucky doing this podcast to talk to people like you and David and so many other writers, directors, producers, actors. And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Except, I think, Utah. But
maybe we just haven't found that one yet.
I don't know. I was looking the other day at our metrics, and we haven't had a single listener in 2.5 years from the state of Utah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that
it's just this big, weird, empty spot. 0. I guess we're not for the Utah people. We just aren't their cup of tea. So do you have any, I mean, you're part of a great company locally.
You've done like 5 movies. One of them a short, according to IMDb. 5 films in the last 3-4 years since 2019. You've been busy.
Yeah, and that's really when I started with the indie film was around 2019. So that just goes to show you, like, once I started doing it,
it takes off.
It just takes off. And so, you meet so many people, and then there's another project and there's another project. So I've been really lucky. Yeah.
Do you think you would want to step into a different set of shoes at some point? To like take the reins at partially,
Well, you were listed as a producer on House Monster.
Yeah. House Monster was such an interesting thing that David and I did. It was right when lockdown hit with COVID, where, none of us could leave our homes. And I had just gone through a really hard time in my life right before this happened. And now suddenly I just can't leave my house. And David's like, let's do something. Let's do something during this time. And he wrote House Monster about a woman stuck in her house during quarantine. And he brought a bunch of camera equipment over to my house, and I'm not technically savvy, but figured it out and basically shot the majority. I mean, I want to say like 90% of the film I shot myself, just me in my house, because the whole thing is a found footage movie.
Yeah.
So she's documenting, what's going on this whole time, and she's vlogging, and there's security cameras that we use GoPros for. So I shot the majority of that myself, and that was challenging, extremely challenging, but it was fun. Like I got to be a little more, I mean, David would give me the shots and how he wanted it to be, but it also left a lot of creativity up to me, exactly how I want to position the camera and where I want to be, that was sort of left up to me a lot of the time. And that was really fun. And, I wouldn't be, acting is my first true passion for sure. But so I don't have any big grand director sort of dreams, but it's definitely something I would not take off the table.
Okay.
I would definitely be into doing it, in some capacity. I'm also very like creative and artsy. And so, and I've done a lot of prop design for theater productions where, I've created and made a lot of strange props and things like that. And I really enjoy that aspect of it too. So I could see doing more production design sort of things in the future. That would be really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just always curious. We want to be just writers, but we got roped into doing a long time ago a failed short film, but we did like everything for it. I ended up doing VFX. I didn't know anything about it, so I had to learn that. Danny was scouting.
Scouting
for all locations. One of the favorite was
doing a lot of the arranging and scheduling, and God, I hated it so much.
I know. I know. But we were looking for a very specific type of bathroom.
Yeah.
It had to fit the bill. One, because so we could shoot in it and stuff and just do things. So yeah, she's running around town. Excuse me. About your bathroom. Would you be open to someone filming a scene in there?
Well, don't forget the 2 months of scouting where every place we went, I went into the bathroom and did a 360 recording with my phone.
Oh yeah.
I had to make sure no one was in the bathroom. And
it was the whole thing. We did practical effects. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I was the sound guy.
Okay.
We raised some money and hired a sound guy, and that was tragic because it was terrible. So I don't know anything about sound.
I don't think
we got good sound. Like I don't know. We'll find out. But a lot of people crave that kind of stuff. They're like, I love doing this, being acting or directing, and then they want to like jump into something else. It's kind of like once you get a larger taste of, especially when it comes to film, with theater, you're either wrote it, you're directing it, you're playing it, or you're throwing money at it,
Right.
In film, you can write, direct, and star in,
right.
Or you're like, you know what, this is great. I love building stuff. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just always curious because it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people are like us, like, I just want to do the one thing. I just want to do the one thing and I'm good, Yeah.
I mean, I could be, I think, just perfectly happy just as long as acting roles kept coming my way, just to continue to, I mean, it's always been my first love. It's such a part of my life. It's definitely not something I want to get away from and move into something else. It's a tried and true thing for me. But certainly open, I always interested to see what opportunities come my way. And, I have backgrounds in puppetry too. I've had people ask me to come do puppetry for their short films or their indie films, so it's always interesting to see what maybe somebody is looking for and they think of you for it. And, so I'm always open to do all sorts of things, but acting is always, I think, going to be like if I could do anything, all the time, that would probably be it.
Excellent. Speaking of, do you have anything on the books? Is there anything happening in theater? Any film projects?
I don't have anything on the books right now. I'm at a really interesting time in my life where I'm trying to balance a bunch of different things and different jobs and career moves and things like that. There's a couple plays that I was asked to be a part of that I unfortunately had to turn down this season just because of it's the season of life that I'm in right now. Trying to make everything work and make everything happen. So I wish, because I hate being away from it, it kills me to have to turn down a role in something. But it's, it's just where I'm at right now in my life that I'm trying to get I got so many irons on the fire that it's hard to make room for it all. So I have a lot of forensic acting work coming up. So that is something that I have on the books is I have a couple of like FBI trainings coming up at the National Advocacy Center here.
Nice.
So those are really rewarding things to do. So those are things on the books, but I'm hoping that I get through this really crazy time the next several months and can start taking on some more projects and doing some more stuff. Sure.
And we kind of get that. We haven't written in 6 months. Not a single word, because life happens.
Life happens, right?
And we try to tell people, no matter what you're doing in this creative business, stop listening to the people. I get so sick of seeing people fill in the web and Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff with, if you're not writing, then you're not a writer. Oh, you know what? Fuck you, friend. All right.
Yeah.
I've got a life going on. And as much as that shit feeds me and is part of me, it just isn't for me right now. I have, life and death. Everything is life and death. It's like, sorting out jobs and stuff. People are like, well, it's not life and death. Well, yeah, it is, because something's going to mean I have more or less food on my table. Exactly. And, a bigger or smaller place to live. And if that all fucks up, I'm going to die. And I have people depending on me. So, not to get dramatic about it, but you can always narrow it down to, it is serious. This is important. Writing is what we are and what we do. And it will always be there. It's like riding your favorite bike. That bike's going to be in the garage when your shit all settles. Might have to put a little air in the tires. It'll be there. And I love hearing your approach on it, because people get really wound up over this, and we get upset sometimes, like, God damn, not that we're not writers, but it's just been that long. I just want to sit and write.
I get little bits out of it when we play D&D every week. So Jim and I switch off DMing. So I get little bits out of it when I'm like plotting campaign points.
Yeah, there's a little to it there, but yeah.
They're little writing snacks.
I want to, on the heels of this. So you've been at this for a while, and you've done different things, different avenues, which is kind of what the creative life is all about anyway. You never end up doing the one thing, the one way. And now you're at a point where it's kind of backbenched because you have life,
right.
The important stuff, the serious stuff. I don't want to say important stuff, the serious stuff. Now for someone listening who is thinking about or has just started, what would your years of compounded experience and lessons come down to for someone who is in that kind of situation or coming out of and feeling, just basically still brand new to this whole thing and not knowing, do I put a dust cover on this or do I just start ripping the pages out because I, losing my mind kind of thing? What would you say to that actor? We'll focus on the actor.
Yeah, well, you could always, go back to it, because goodness knows I've had to step away. And, I took a huge hiatus from acting, like I said earlier, when I was pregnant and had 2 babies and small children, and there always is that fear, when you do that, am I going to be able, and you have to turn down, I hate, turning down opportunities, because it's like, will these people ask me again when I am able to do it? Will these opportunities still be there? Will they come back? Will I still, have it when I can come back? And from my experience, I mean, the answer is yes. You can step away and deal with life and come back again. Like you were saying, you might have to dust the cover off of it and find your sea legs again. But you can do that, and you shouldn't feel like it's just all over, and you can't do that, because you certainly can. And if you keep those people that you like working with in your realm and communicate to them, like I always do, that like, I really want to do this. Life's just not going to allow it right now, but in the future, I'm going to want to, please think of me. Please always think of me. And if you have good relationships with those people, they'll do that. I've had people I've had to turn down a couple of times because life just wasn't going to allow me to do the projects that they wanted me to do, no matter how much I wanted to do them. And I said, but please don't let this keep you from asking me again in the future, because, things might be different. And I've had those people come back to me the third time. Can you do this project? And I was able to say, yes, now I can. So, you should do that, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. I hate that term, because it's just too much pressure to put on something. You have to be creating. There are those people, there are those artists, those actors, those directors, those writers that get up every day at 8 a.m. and concentrate on nothing but their craft all day long. That's great, but it's just not realistic for me, at least. It's just not. I wish I was that. I used to feel guilty about it, right? Like I used to feel like a bad artist or a bad actor, but it's like, no, like, life is big and varied, and there's a lot of things wanting your attention and a lot of things that you care about. So, that mentality that you just have to always be, gnawing at the bone of whatever your craft is. I think sometimes you can gain a lot from stepping away for a while and just living life, because that's where we get all of our, at least for me, like your inspiration and things like that from is, travel, live your life, go on a date with your significant other, your kid or whatever. Like those are great. That's great fuel creatively than the things you go through during those times. And I know like the struggle, I had hard pregnancies and I had postpartum depression and all that. But I feel like going through those experiences when I wasn't able to act, kind of when I came back, had this new sort of like depth to myself that made me, see maybe some things from a different perspective that I didn't before, from the experiences that I went through, that helped me be a better actor. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love it. And I love that outlook that you have. I think that's like incredibly healthy and a wonderful way to go about things.
Oh, thank you. It took me a while to get there,
Well,
it takes a lot of people a long time to get to a place like that. And I'm so glad.
Well, you had mentioned the people who get up at 8 and do it all day long, and one thing we try to stress to folks is, I'll remind you, these people are getting paid to get up. And
exactly. That's really important.
And
they're getting paid big bucks to do that.
Yes. Every creative would love to be able to do just that and make good, consistent, money and stuff. And we all know the odds, and, it's not to, put a shadow on it. But the reality is you have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do hitting it big with the thing that you're doing.
Oh yeah.
But you still do it, right? Got to pay to play, and you got to do the thing. So yeah, I love that. It's what we try to tell everyone: just keep at it, do it when you can. Don't worry about routines. Don't worry about the one thing that you mentioned is knowing people. Making contacts is extremely important to be successful at any level as a creative. Yeah. Even at just a fulfillment level, you have to have someone who's going to watch your performance and talk to you about it, read your script and talk to you about it at the very least. So, networking, one thing we always tell people is negative people, get them out. The first person who shits on your dream, send them packing. Send
them out the door.
Yeah. And, we believe everyone gets two, everyone gets two chances. So, maybe later they'll come around, then bring them back in. But we've talked at length with people about, it's important to surround yourself with people who support you, who have your back and will be honest with you, Jennifer, that was really great. However, this one bit, you lost me. I just didn't feel it. What were you going for? Right. I need to do that for you so that you can be the way you want in terms of your levels of success and growth. And also, I don't want to be an asshole and just lie to you because,
it's so important. Yeah. And as an actor, man, you need that. You need a director. You need someone with eyes on you, helping you and saying like this, try this differently, or this isn't working. It's really so important. It's very frustrating working with a director that doesn't really give you much as far as direction.
Yeah.
Because I love it. I want to hear it,
Got to take those notes seriously.
Yeah.
I think everyone we've ever spoken to is listen and then figure out what actually works for you. And, if people are like insulting, and just, brush that to the side. Just take the stuff. Okay, I've had 4 people say this is weak, so I'm going to look at this. What can I do?
Yeah.
Well, I wish we had some things to market in terms of upcoming performances and stuff, but I get it.
Yeah,
all good.
I wish I did too, but yeah, that's just where I am right now.
That's cool.
There's nothing wrong with that. And you've got all these projects from the last couple of years that we can, still push out. They're on Tubi, I think, or on Amazon Prime.
Yes, Amazon Prime, definitely. I know Bae Wolf's on Tubi.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the other one.
Yeah, and he just put out on Twitter, it is going on Prime soon.
Ooh.
It's going on Amazon. We keep saying Prime. Amazon Video.
Well, according to IMDb, Lection, Bad Girls, Cleveland, and House Monster are all on Prime Video.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, Bae Wolf is hitting it quick because it's in conjunction with the DVD, all this stuff going on.
It's coming up soon.
Yeah. So, again, folks, watch it.
Yeah.
You've had many weeks. Well, I think on that high positive note of it's okay to take a break, but do what you love. We will thank you, Jennifer, for joining us and giving us your time. And also this fantastic performance in Beowulf, because it was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. And I felt like the two of you, when I listened to your earlier podcast, just really got it. I just feel like you really
thank you.
It's what we were setting out to do and what it was. And I loved listening to that. But thank you so much. And thank you for having me. This has just been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. That was Jennifer Hill.
Yes, it was.
From Beowulf.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fantastic conversation.
Yes.
I will say, so, this year we're focusing on women in film.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things we talked about with Jennifer were some of the more overt problems, right? that women experience in the industry.
Yes.
And it is kind of, I was really glad that she brought a lot of those up. And I also didn't want to take any focus away from the film itself and her experiences. But I was like, God, we could spend 10,000 podcast episodes talking about, all of the things that women go through.
Oh, yeah.
Have to go through, not just overt, but the I don't know what the word is, the subversive things as well, which we didn't even get to touch on. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, and so one thing she brought up, she took a hiatus from it all because she, got pregnant and she, had babies and stuff. And this isn't like a Hollywood filmmaking kind of thing. That's everywhere. Right? The horror stories of women who get pregnant and get fired from their job and, the struggles. And we're still not fully there, but over the years, parental leave.
Well, I mean, one thing, a real life example would be Charisma Carpenter talking about what Joss Whedon put her through when she got pregnant when they were filming Angel.
Yes.
Just a horrendous experience.
It's one of those things, right? If pregnancy was something that was 100% under control, you know what I mean? I because if we get our series going,
Yeah.
right? The one thing you're depending on is your actors,
Sure.
being there to carry the series. I mean, that's what it is. If we had it 100% under control, where we could, okay, you're gonna get pregnant tomorrow, boom, all right. So, all right, then you can sit and have a conversation, say, hey, it's time. So how about we segue, into something else, and don't have to do it. But like famously, Gates McFadden from Star Trek Next Generation, all she did was put on an oversized lab coat, and she still played Dr. Crusher.
Yeah.
The whole way through her pregnancy. Right?
That's awesome.
And then there was, I can't remember, I'm trying to drum it up. There was an actor got pregnant, and they didn't try to hide it. They just ignored it. I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah, there's many layers to it. Like there are so many ways that you can, like work around it. But also there's the the stigma that women experience when they get pregnant, and then, say someone takes a break, right? Like Jennifer Hill did. They're not guaranteed to be able to get back into things.
I know. And that's the whole problem. That's what I'm saying. It's not something we can control. It's not a mechanical thing. If we could, then we could schedule and do all this stuff, but it's life. Yeah. And getting pregnant isn't like, oh, well, I'm getting hip surgery, and this is how it's going to go. Melissa Rauch.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory, right? Had a very difficult pregnancy. She did get pregnant in real life.
Yeah.
And they worked it in where she was bedridden because she couldn't work. And she was pretty much on, because she had failed pregnancies prior to that. And that's a very at-risk kind of thing. And, the focus here isn't pregnancy, but it's something that happens. First of all, it has to happen, right?
I mean, it is a basic part of life.
It's how we propagate the species.
It is a basic part of life, and it's unreasonable to think that,
Well, yeah, I think the thing that troubles me is the struggles with women in this industry. I mean, a lot of them are universal in just everyday life, right? But I would think this would be a more forgiving environment.
One would think.
Where, well, yeah, I mean, first of all, every environment should be forgiving, but let's say that there's a woman who's a lawyer, she's a partner, lots of important cases, and then she gets pregnant, and then at some point she can't continue. Okay. I can see where there's angst and issues, particularly if they're like defending somebody and all of a sudden, that person can't be a part of it. But you know what? That's called life, and you roll with the punches,
Yeah.
This is acting. It's the world of fucking make believe. And if you can't make believe that somebody has gone off and done something, or, just write a story without that character for a while.
Yeah.
Right. But when it's done, there's no reason that a woman can't come back to work, no matter what it is, no matter where it is. But in an industry of make believe, how hard is it really? Even if she is the star of the show. Okay, so what?
There's 100,000 ways to
absolutely
figure it out.
And I don't think it's a big stretch to ask the audience to, can you just not focus on the fact that this woman is pregnant? The character is doing its thing. And it's not part of the show.
Yeah.
Right? Just let it go. Why do we have to have all these horror stories of, forcing people to work extra long? Because that's kind of what happens. The work becomes harder. It's not that the pregnancy is getting in the way. It's these misogynistic assholes who are like punishing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do 21 and a half hours today. Dude, 8 months pregnant, right? Normal person doesn't want to do 21 fucking hours on their feet. Back off, you know?
Yeah.
But at least we're having these conversations.
Yeah, I think they're excellent conversations to have.
And it means things are happening.
Yeah.
It's not in the corner in the dark anymore. People are coming out, sharing how horrible things were for them. And it's helping women today and very soon, hopefully tomorrow.
It's a very long road to hoe, but you know,
absolutely is.
We're on it. Hopefully.
Oh man. And that's just like one thing. That's a beautiful.
That's why I said we could do like 1,000 different podcast episodes about all of these things.
Absolutely.
But you know, I like to, and I wanted to keep the focus on, you know, Jennifer's performance in Beowulf and her other work and all the awesome things that she has done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there it is, you know, obstacles aside, she's living her best life. She is doing the acting. You know, she's now not part of a company, an acting company, in terms of just, you know, being an actor and doing the roles. She now has a chair at the table and can help shape and guide. And I think that is fantastic because she's such a lovely woman. It was so wonderful talking to her.
It was a real treat talking to her.
And you know, we talked a little bit about it, but you know, the whole focus on, there's a lot of stuff coming out of South Carolina.
Yeah. I
mean, we've talked, you know, with her about all the horror movies and all the indie stuff and, you know, the low budget, no budget stuff coming out of there. David Axe is over there doing his thing, right? Just, you know, like Eric Schumacher and Marty and Cliff and Arizona and Oklahoma, they're doing their thing, you know, and regularly.
I mean, yeah, that's a really good point. And we are discovering all these kind of pockets of like indie filmmaker communities that have, you know, the seeds of them were planted a while ago and they're just now starting to like really truly blossom and become like
a
something
thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what else to call it. Well, and it reminds me of the stuff that we were just looking at, like Elise Ski, right? New Jersey was Hollywood. And then everyone fled. They're like, you know, fuck your rules. We're going to do our thing.
Screw you, Edison.
Yeah, we're going to do our own thing over here.
Yeah.
And that is like the core of indie film. It's not a hostile thing, but it's just like, you know what? Fuck you, Hollywood. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, your rules are ridiculous. This whole gatekeeper thing, this whole, you know, you got to get past this. Fuck all you guys. You know, that's the problem when you bring massive amounts of money into it. Yeah. You know, it becomes an industry and it's not an art form. Hollywood is an industry. Indie film is an art form. You know, and we still, you know, we can't totally crap on Hollywood because we get B movies.
Oh yeah.
Which are less restricted, but you know, a lot more funding. And they do have a plan.
Sure.
You know, and they do still have the big machine. We can get this out in 150 theaters across the country and that'll do. If we can, you know, get 80% of the seats full over 2 weeks, made our money back. Boom. That's the business.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just, we still have a long way to go with the culture of like art should be free for people to consume. Like art is a right for people to consume without needing to support the artists who create it.
Right. Well, so like book publishing.
Yeah.
Right. Book publishers are out there, you know, it's like, you're not an author. Anyone can, you know, publish their own work. Well, that part is true. Just takes an hour of research, but not anyone can write a work to publish, self or otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. That takes a particular talent, particular skill. Anyone can point a camera and hit record.
Takes work and dedication and, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, it would be like saying, unless you're sponsored by a gallery, you can't paint. What? Come on. You know, artistry in every form should be available to everybody.
Yes.
Now, and we all have our personal opinions and tastes, and some stuff we like, we don't like. That's just kind of the way it is. But yeah, you're right. It's they act like it's some sort of privilege,
Right.
that you have to earn the right to see and experience art.
Or you have to earn the right to make a living doing art.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, let's be
And
honest.
there's no clear line of like, and there's no formula. How hard do you have to work? Like, what all do you have to do to be able to, be a creative for a living?
It's killer. All of this, because most indie filmmakers aren't making any money.
Nope.
I mean, it's just continually dumping stuff in, and you know, it's people doing what they want to do. Like
I mean,
Jennifer's like,
yeah.
if something happened where it was this huge, step and like the big golden nugget,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe a move to Hollywood or New York,
Right.
right? Depending on what, film or stage. Any creative ponders that,
Sure.
but like we were talking with her, and we've mentioned a few times, it's not necessary these days.
No.
You can do anything you want wherever you are. And I think that's super important for listeners to grasp.
Yeah.
Don't, LA needs more wannabe filmmakers and writers
And actors.
and actors. Like, we need 10 more headaches to deal with today. It's just one of those things. Do it from where you are. Authors don't all move to New York. You don't have to live next to a publishing office.
No.
Right? Especially these days, because you can't just walk in and drop shit off anymore. It's like out.
This is true.
Leave, go. You send your stuff, you do your, inquiries, and there's services now online for almost all levels of art and creativity where you can get in touch with somebody who has a little moxie in that
Right.
world, right? And could get you a showing. But more importantly, wherever you are, within 50 miles, because there are some towns that have like nothing, right? There's just nothing. But within 50 miles, you can find somebody who has a small theater.
Right.
I mean,
or a little studio space, or it's still recording.
Okay, I thought it like shimmied. Anyway, as a photographer, there's literally nothing. It's hey, would you be interested in a photo series on this and that, or you look for someone who's saying, hey, we're looking for photos of this, this, and this for an article, and you're going to sell it as a general license and whatever. To get seen, I went to galleries, like especially in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
I went to the galleries and said, hey, and these are like coffee shop galleries.
Sure.
Kind of, right? Like the coffee shops here on State Street and stuff.
Right.
They'll feature somebody for art. But you got to go to them and you got to just put it out there. Hey, I had, my big portfolio thing, throw it up on the counter, unzip it, and these giant prints. I'm like, what do you think? You into this? And I had people who said yes. And I did that with the tourism office, right? Did well, and then I had people coming after me, hey, we saw your stuff. We're having this exhibition. We would love it if you would submit some art.
That's cool.
It is. It's a wonderful feeling, but you've got to do it. All of this seems like fluffy for the heart. You can do this. You don't have to go anywhere. But the thing is, you got to do the legwork, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer didn't get to where she was by just sitting saying, I want to be an actor.
Gee, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. You've got to do it. You've got to get out there. You've got to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to not do a great performance. And then you learn from it. And it's, pounding the pavement in any creative endeavor. You've got to do it, folks. I mean, it's just You've got to do it. And there are ways to do it. And it's just kind of, it's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. It's rejections, you know, but every little thing that you get is a huge win.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that it is an oversaturated industry, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, well, we have like the starving artists in the warm weather, you know,
Sure.
that set up their vans and stuff and, you know, have their artwork on the side of the road or, uh, 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 I just keep calling him painter guy, you know, from State Street
the
with the spray paints,
State
right?
Street paint guy.
Yeah.
Spray paint guy.
Love seeing what goes on there. But here's the thing. He's got to sit out there, rain, shine.
Yeah,
you know,
every Saturday all summer.
Super hot, kind of hot, you know, windy, not windy. He's got to get out there, set up on his corner, and do his thing.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise nothing happens.
This is true.
But one of the other things is when you're not doing the thing. I loved that we were able to have that conversation.
Yeah. And like that, it's okay.
Yeah. You know,
because I struggle with that still. We haven't been able to write in a while, and I'm like, it, you know,
yeah,
it's like it claws at my insides.
It is,
and it hurts.
It's going to be annoying,
but I don't beat myself up about it.
Right.
Right. And we don't beat each other up about it because we're not monsters.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Life happens. You know, I got to raise some kids. I can't do 30 hours after business hours, you know, worth of rehearsal a week and on weekends and stuff. Can't do it.
And yeah, take care of yourself. It is not romantic to be a starving artist.
Right. Your talent in any endeavor can endure a hiatus for whatever reason. Now, we did talk about with her how hard it is sometimes to get back in because there's that worry.
Yeah.
Right. You know, haven't done anything, haven't talked to anybody. Shit, is anyone going to be interested in reading my script or hearing about it or even hearing from me? Somebody going to give me a chance to audition? You know, if you think about it though, that's like every day. Doesn't matter how into it you are, nothing's guaranteed.
Well, it was something even we struggled with changing the podcast to bi-weekly temporarily.
Yeah.
It was like, is this going to be okay? Are we going to lose people because we're not releasing episodes as often? You know, if we decided to take a month-long break and not release episodes for a month, it's something that would worry us both.
Well, it would have ramifications.
Yeah.
I mean, it would, you know, like it or not, it'd be like starting over again, you know, which was a discussion.
Yes.
You know, but we, you know, the bi-weekly thing is working and getting to the end, I hope, of, you know, this journey.
Yeah.
This terrible damnation alley journey of frying my brain.
But I do think that message is great, that it's okay to step back.
Absolutely.
And deal with life.
And you know what? The people who shit on you for it, those are the people you cut the cord.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I guess I don't need to work with you. You know, they say don't burn your bridges because like Hollywood is famous for people suing studios and stuff, but then they'll do a movie with that studio while the lawsuit's in progress for something else. It's a weird ass business, you know, but for the rest of us who still have 9-to-5 jobs and, you know, rely on every other means of making films beyond a studio. Hey, I don't think if you burn one of those bridges, it's too terrible, you know, because I feel like people burn the bridges for you.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I hate saying, no, don't burn your bridges. Well, I really didn't. I went to this person. They shit all over me. They've run me down. Don't support anything. Feels like they, like, you know,
I don't think there was a bridge to burn there.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong style disassembled that bridge.
That bridge would have never held a car anyway.
Exactly. Oh, but it was a wonderful discussion.
Yes.
And I can't wait to catch her in the next thing. And we're going to keep an eye out for that because we will be talking about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, just maybe a general check-in after a while. Just, how's it going? Because not actually doing anything is, I think, as helpful as in terms of advice to people. We're not psychologists or psychiatrists, but we do have a sense of what keeps you mentally healthy. And, it's positive people, positive self-image, drive, determination, and support. Because you are going to wake up and go, fuck this.
That's true.
This is bullshit. I'm just so done. See, that's where you need that wild card in the corner who's like, bullshit, you're not quitting.
Right.
You can do this, goddammit. Yeah. So I hope, listeners, you got something good from this. Because once again, there's some good stuff. And you got to listen to, a wonderful person and, just get another page of notes in how everyone's life is different and things happen differently for everybody. And, you know what? That's okay.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, if you put numbers to it, we started script writing 8 years ago.
Yes.
This year. And we've gotten so close to the sun.
Oh, I know.
So close to the sun, and it's annoying and frustrating. It's like, why the fuck couldn't we have just got to the sun? Why couldn't we have, 3 years ago been done and there, or as they like to say, made it.
Yeah.
But still.
But even if you quote, make it, you're not done.
Oh shit. No.
That's just a new chapter.
Unless you're that one in 100 million, 1 in a billion that has someone knock on your door and say, saw your script, read it, loved it. I want to give you $3 million. Right. And you're a financial genius.
Right.
You don't go creatives seem to be the worst with influx of money.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to, throw everyone into, a big stereotypical pot, but statistically, we don't have a great track record.
Yeah, no. No. Well, I mean, it's all that work, and you're like, woohoo! And then next thing you know, you're like, I'm fucking broke again.
Yeah.
All right, got to start pawning those scripts out. So yeah, unless you can, invest into all your stuff, you got to keep working. We've always said, no guarantees. You work, you have an offer today, and they could crap on it tomorrow. Even if you have a contract, there's ways out of the contracts, right?
Betty White was working till the end.
Exactly. And there were times in between she wasn't doing much of anything.
Right.
Because you know what? People were like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. Or, there were times when she chose to focus on her for a while.
Yeah. You know what? Thanks for the offer, but no. Got some stuff to do. Well. We have a website.
We do?
Yes.
lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
That's the one.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff there. We have a merch store. You can get Bravo for the B-side merchandise. We have our blog. We have past episodes, other stuff we work on.
I don't want
emails.
to oversell the blog.
Well,
because the blog is really where the episodes post, and then I just move them over, or I put them on the podcast. So it's all, we haven't done many posts.
Then,
to be honest.
Then, my dear, when I said we have the blog, you could have just let it be that.
Well, I don't want everyone to get excited.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, they have a blog.
So you can also find our email addresses. If you have done an indie movie or worked on an indie movie or, anything in, related to the industry, we're interested in talking to you. Reach out to us. Links to our social media pages. Follow us on social media. Follow the people we follow. They're really cool. You'll learn a lot from them. You'll also learn about cool indie films that you might not have known about before.
And pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there.
Yes.
Go through. because we have a lot more interviews
We do.
like this that, there's a lot to take from that, and not to mention all of our other episodes about the movies and the lessons. But yeah, if you're digging interviews and you're just like jumping in, we have plenty.
We do.
We have plenty.
And I've enjoyed all of them. I think they all have definitely something worthwhile to, glean a little nugget of information or wisdom from.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
On our website, there is also a link to our Patreon page. If you like listening to us and you want to support us, become a patron.
Yeah.
You get early access to episodes and other cool stuff.
Public television style.
Yeah.
If you like it, jump in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think.
And one more thing.
What do we got?
Check out the show notes for any links or things that Jennifer is sending over.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Always check the show notes, folks.
Yeah.
Longtime listeners know that. We'll put things in, our guests can, I don't know what the word is, promote or flaunt, whatever they want.
Yeah.
And we're happy to put that on the notes. So check the notes. And as of right now, don't know what's coming next. We'll still be on a bi-weekly.
Yeah, for a little while yet.
Yeah, a couple more episodes.
But we don't have the next film planned.
We don't. And this whole interview thing, just just kept coming. I don't mind stretches of interviews.
No, I think they're great.
Yeah. And also, folks, if you like indie film, support them in the simplest way possible. Go on to, because we did with Bae Wolf. I just want to get this in here quick.
Oh, yeah.
There are folks in IMDb, and this happens on every fucking platform. There are people who are shitting on the movie. I said, here's the thing, you don't have to like it.
Saying in the review, I didn't even watch this.
Yeah. And this happened, if you remember, folks, this happened with Tucky Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And she got kicked off of Amazon. It was a whole big thing. And then she's back, and then they did it again. And then she, fought back and pegged she found out who these actual people were.
Yeah.
And it became a big deal. And go out and rate and review, just like we want you to do with the podcast.
Well, yeah, watch the movie.
Watch the movie. Don't leave a review on a trailer. Don't be that kind of an asshole. But yeah, watch the movie. And even if you're like, you know what, this is only 1 star, I just didn't care for it, then, show some intellectualism. Leave a written review why you didn't like it. But also, like what I went through is I went through and reported all these people who are like, oh, I didn't even watch this movie. I could tell it sucked. Dude, right? You can't. Anyway, so help these people out. If you see somebody getting barraged with a bunch of shit and it's clear that either the people say they haven't watched it or it's clear that they didn't, then, report the reviews as these innocuous turds that are floating around out there. And if you're like, well, this is like a 5-6 star movie. You know what? If there's a bunch of people shitting on it and they didn't see it, throw a 10 star up there, right? Let's help get rid of some of that negativity.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes everything, but let's show we have some brains and actually review a movie we've seen and not the concept.
Right. Don't be a dick.
Exactly. Don't be a dick back.
All right. I think that about covers it.
I think it does. I think we're good. Until next time, B-siders, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we will be talking at you soon.
Bye.